There's something I've noticed about old MMOs. On the surface, it's mechanics, raids, loot, progression bars filling up. But those are just the bones. What brings the world to life is the feeling. After a while, they stop feeling like games. They start feeling like places. And places have neighborhoods. The kind where you start recognizing people. The same druid, always buffing by the fire. The guy that takes notes after every dev stream. The familiar names in chat who've just always been there. You don't know them exactly, but you know them. You trust them. You wave when you pass. When I first joined the Monsters and Memories Discord, I didn't talk much. I just watched. Listened. Like walking into a town square for the first time and sitting on a bench, trying to get a feel for the place. And what surprised me wasn't only the game, it was the people around it. I've played MMOs for a long time, and if you've been around long enough, you learn to be careful. Careful about promises. Careful about roadmaps. Because we've all been burned before. But this one felt different. It didn't feel like marketing. It just felt like a bunch of people pulling chairs closer to the same fire. Trying to build something together. From all this, I realized I wasn't just watching a game being built anymore. I was walking through a neighborhood. So, pull up a chair. Fire's already going. The neighborhood we live in. Monsters and Memories. I recall a quote that stuck with me. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. So when was I in the good old days? Back in the World of Warcraft beta, memories of smelting copper ore I mined from the snowy hills, hammering it into bars at the warm Qeynos forge, finding the gates of Ironforge, and stopping for an hour just to watch strangers duel. Looking for the Demon Hunter class that didn't even exist yet. In Dark Age of Camelot, running over the Agerheim Bridge for the 100th time. And somehow the sunset never lost its luster. Climbing mountains that actually let you climb them. No invisible walls, just curiosity. Logging into RuneScape for a quick farm run. And losing the entire night to some random quest I never planned to start. Sneaking online past midnight, dying after forgetting to bring food into a dungeon, and going to bed annoyed and grinning at the same time. All these moments, well, there's nothing legendary about them, but life was just happening in the margins. And whether I knew it or not, I was already in the good old days. You can go back to those worlds now, sure, but you can't go back to that feeling. Until recently. But before we get caught up into the present era, let's talk about how the good old days started to drift. Something changed. Somewhere along the way, I stopped lingering. I stopped standing in cities for no reason. Stopped recognizing names. Stopped caring where anything was. Everything still worked, but nothing stuck. You queued. You teleported. You finished. You logged out. Maps and quest helpers told me exactly where the mobs were. Dungeon finders skipped the roads entirely. I didn't walk through the world anymore. I fast traveled through it. You still leveled. Still got loot. But you stopped remembering where you got it. And then came the promises. Kickstarters. Roadmaps. Stretch goals. Games that asked for faith before they gave you a world. Millions raised. Years passed. And nothing felt permanent. After a while, you learn to protect yourself. You stop believing too quickly. You stop getting attached. You stop expecting a neighborhood. Because it's easier to assume it's just another lobby. So, when I joined the Monsters and Memories Discord, I didn't expect much. I didn't go looking for a new forever game. I just showed up, watched the dev streams, listened to people talk, took mental notes. The devs showed me what real progress looks like. Addressing community feedback live. Streaming just to go over patch notes. And here's one of the most important parts. When you look at the development costs, they're all out of pocket. This was all done without asking for any money from the community. So that's really when it dawned on me. In an era of distrust, in an MMO climate of suffocating cities and highways, I really was walking into a neighborhood. And then there were the people. The names you start to recognize. The same way you recognize someone who always sits at the same table in a cafe. You don't know their story, but you nod when you see them. There's the guy who writes notes after every dev stream, condenses hours of discussions into 10 minutes so the rest of us can keep up. Not drama, or no thumbnails screaming for attention, just here's what we learned today. Like a neighbor pinning a flyer to the board. There's a composer sharing tracks and answering comments like it's no big deal. Even helping some random new creator with 100 views to fix his audio. Like it's just normal. Like we're already part of the same project. There are the dev streams. Long ones. Messy ones. Sometimes 11 hours of someone just working and talking. Talking through problems out loud. Even building an entire zone with the community live. And then there were the smaller moments. A stranger tossing buffs at a campfire. A quiet room for two. People who were just there. Not because they had to be, but because they wanted to be. By the end of the weekend, nothing dramatic had happened. Just small things. The kind you only notice when you're already missing them. Walking back into Phalandraw during a rainstorm. Selling scraps at the vendor. Sharpening a blade that probably wasn't even worth keeping. Sitting by a fire a little longer than I needed to. At some point during my early videos, someone messaged me. Didn't know me, didn't have to. Just said they'd like to group up when beta comes. And for a second, it caught me off guard. Because that's not something you say about a game you're testing. That's something you say about a place you plan to return to. That's when it really clicked. I wasn't chasing content. Sure, I was analyzing systems a bit. You know, of course I wanted to progress, but really, I just didn't want to leave. And maybe that's what a neighborhood really is. Not hype, not features, not promises. Just the decision to come back tomorrow. Because the lights are on. Because someone might be there. Because it feels like you belong. So, this is not a review. It's just a record. Proof that for one weekend, I was here. And it meant something. Thanks for watching.